Intuit Field Service Management provides a simple and compelling functionality for tracking, managing, and executing service agreements. Service management doesn't create them for you, but enables you to take that paper contract between you and your customer and enter it into the system to automatically create the work orders and invoices associated with those visits, as well as ensure that you've adhered to the checklists you've agreed to in that contract. So let's take an example, starting with entering a service agreement off the paper contract that your tech or salesman's brought in. We'll start by adding a service agreement from the customer record. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and give this a name, indicate who it was sold by. In this case it was Chuck, our sales rep, and then we'll go ahead and enter some filter information or perhaps other information like to enter in through the rear entrance. To further strengthen our relationship with the customer, we'll go ahead and make sure we always use the same tech. So we'll choose a preferred tech as well as a backup in case our primary, Harry Hammer, is busy. In the next step, we're going to select the equipment that's covered. In this case, we've already got a furnace on file for this customer. If there were more pieces of equipment on the contract, for example, if you'd gone and done a site survey and itemized all the chillers or AC units, you can add them quite simply by clicking the Add Equipment to Site button. In this case, we're just going to cover that main furnace, and then we'll set up the visits. In this case, we're going to do a quarterly for the 1-year duration of the contract. So we're going to go Add Checklist. We're going to say we're going to go out every 3 months for 4 visits. We'll choose the checklist. In this case, it's the HVAC tune-up. And you can see on the right it populates with the built-in checklists. Now that we've got the schedule set up, we can see we've got 4 visits set up, February, May, August, and November. We can reschedule those or set them to specific dates and times right now if we'd like. In either case, work orders will automatically be generated at the beginning of each of those months. The last step on the service agreement, of course, is pricing. So let's take a simple example here and say this was a $400 service agreement that was not sold in a service call, but rather in a sales call. And we've agreed to charge the customer $100 at each visit, and then we add the item to the invoice that's going to be reflected. So in this case, we know it's a gold service agreement, so we've got a specific labor item for that. And you'll notice the price is marked 0 here. That will auto-populate based on your agreement with the customer. And the last thing we're going to do is include our discount instructions. In this example, we do a 15% discount on the total invoice for all service calls not included in the service agreement. That will show up on every invoice so that you always charge the customer correctly. And it's worth pointing out that on the last work order that's generated from a service agreement, there'll also be a flag so you know it's time to renew, whether your service tech does it out in the field or you do it from within the office. Now, when it comes time to build out a technician schedule, for example, when you want to fill up somebody's day or plan forward, you can use a purpose-specific view here called Scheduled PMs, either organized by city, state, or you can use a map. And from there, it's just as simple as clicking through on the work order and choosing the Needs to be Scheduled button, and what that will do is actually bring up your scheduling panel. So you've got a date-wise search as well as a geographic search to make sure you get the most out of your service techs, reduce their drive time, and help you save money. We make scheduling easy with this dispatch board for your PMs, and as soon as they're scheduled, of course, they'll show up on your calendar view. If you're using mobile, of course, these will show on your phone, including the checklist and discount instructions for that customer. So you can see using service agreements is simple and powerful so that you can get more work, streamline your revenue flows, and never miss another renewal.